Yay! I am here. Thanks everyone for your patience. Got on the wrong page. I'm going to pop over on my phone and make sure everybody that's on my personal page knows to switch over. In the meantime, let me give you some Daniel Nahmod to listen to.
When things go wrong, it's natural to wonder what celestial rule did I break? When things go right, it's logical to ponder what credit can I take? But the truth is so much easier. I don't need a master plan. I can live here in the moment, 'cause my life is in good hands. I don't need to know where the wind blows. God knows. I don't need to know what the future holds. God knows. I need never know how pain ends, how my heart mends. I can know God knows. Still I find I'm crying out for answers. Guess I'm still craving control. And still I find I'm afraid it could damage my soul. But at this moment, I remember it comes so clear to me that the minute I surrender, I'm as safe as I could be. I don't need to know where the time goes. God knows. I don't need to know what the future holds. 'Cause God knows. I need never know how pain ends, how my heart mends. I can just let go. God knows. Where the time goes.
Good morning, Unity Northwest Church. Good to see you over here on the church page. Thanks for moving over. I'm running 2 pages right now, and we are now all on the right page. And thank you so much for everybody checking in the chat box. It really does a person good when they're doing a Sunday service to a little green dot on their MacBook to look over to the right and see your wonderful names come up. Hi, Fiona, it's good to see you, and Ruth and Jerry and Pat and Chris and everyone that's checked in. After I get offline, I'll even go over and read all of your comments. So please, although you've come up and letting me know that you've joined, also sign in on the chat box, which is probably over there for you or to the side. I can feel your presence, and everyone that's watching can see your name fly by in the chat box. Good morning from Unity Northwest Church North Office. We are now a campus church. We have locations all over the place because church is taking place in your home today. It's taking place in my home today and all across the world, or at least here in America, as I was watching some 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock services this morning. Most of the churches are taking place in people's homes. So, hey, everyone's getting to see what their ministers put up on their walls. And, well, this crazy minister puts up church. So there you go. It feels like I'm already in church because I see the little hearts and the smiles flying by, and thank you so much for that. It's like looking out into the sanctuary and seeing you there when I see you check in over there. And Arturo is reminding me that there is going to be some buffering. It's simply unavoidable. I'm guessing there's a lot of network traffic right now, although the network I was reading is really robust. And we have some fast download speed here, and some of it depends on your upload speed on your end. So there will be some glitches here and there. I hope not too many. As we get to the end of the service, perhaps you can give me some feedback. I don't think it would be much difference on Zoom or anything else because you're still dealing with sending the data out and uploading it at your end. But we can always try. We're all learning this together. So thank you for joining on Facebook Live. Let's go ahead and pray in, you beautiful souls. We come together now from our living rooms, from our homes, across the suburbs, and perhaps across this entire country as people from other churches may join in with us today or in watching this video. Mind those people that we normally see at service on Sunday and realize that we're connecting with them. Some of them right in this very moment, and some of them later today or throughout the week when they join when it's convenient for them. We are a church family. We are connected. And each of you is bringing your consciousness into our time together, and your consciousness as it connects with mine throughout the week helps to create what we do here today. We are grateful that you are here with us, and know that we are here with you throughout this week, throughout the coming weeks. Your church is always here for you. And we send our love and blessing out to all of those in the world right now that are facing this virus, that are treating those who've been impacted, those who are simply at home, not sure if that's what they have, but are quarantined, our leaders, our politicians, our governors, our families, as we all find our way through this together. And we hold a special prayer today for one of our own, Edwene Gaines, who was in ICU but is now home recovering. Don't know if it's from COVID-19, but let's all send our prosperity teacher, who we just did a service, just did 4 weeks of, Edwene Gaines. Unity Northwest Church sends you love and strength as you recover, affirming your wholeness. And we send that blessing out to everyone impacted. And so it is. Amen. Again, good morning. Great to see you. Hello, we've got some Rod and Lori who were members long ago checking in. It's so wonderful to see you. And we have the Bostons online, and Pat, it's great to see you. Jeanette, and I'm sure Hal is probably sitting next to her, and Angela and Pat and Patricia, who's been online with me several times this week. Patricia, it's so nice to see you. Hello to Susan, Jerry, another Patricia, and Chris and Anita back from the beginning. I think I caught everyone. And Arturo is watching. And my dear friend Gayla, who is a friend of mine from seminaries, popped on. And hello to Brenda. Couple of things then that we're going to do this morning as we normally do in our church. I'm going to start by reading the daily word, one of our favorites, and then we'll say our invocation together. And I'm not going to cheat today. I'm not going to put it up off to the side. I'm going to see if I can remember it. So if I bumble it, you have to say it even louder so that I can hear it in consciousness through my dining room window over there. All right. Today is daily word, and if you'd like, go ahead and relax. Inner peace. I find the peace of God in the silence within me. The Hebrew scriptures tell the story of the word of the Lord commanding the prophet Elijah to stand on the mountain before the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by. As he waits, Elijah fails to find God as he endures a wind strong enough to split mountains, an earthquake, and then a fire. Then Elijah discovers God in a sound of sheer silence. Sometimes chaos surrounds me as I try to find the peace of God. Other times the chaos may be inside me. I persist in my efforts as I confront inner storms, fires, and earthquakes as I search fast in faith. Undisturbed by what is happening around me, I wait for distractions to pass. Peace is mine. And from 1 Kings 19:12. And after the earthquake, a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire, and after the fire, a sound of sheer silence. Let's enjoy a moment of sheer silence together. You may be finding a lot of silence in your world these days, or you may be finding a lot of noise. You may be on the internet more, my guess is, than you used to be, or maybe you are taking this time to have a little less internet in your world. But I am glad that you managed to find us here on Facebook Live. I hope that this is one of the times that is good for your soul when you come online. Thanks for all the hearts and the love that come up. I've been taking a Zumba class with my dear friend Jake Fisher. If you like Zumba and you're looking for something to do exercise-wise, look him up on Facebook, Jake Fisher, and he's doing it on Facebook Live and on Zoom. And I know he says every time he sees our hearts and our thumbs go by, he feels that much more energized to do what he's doing, and so do I. Well, now let's test our memory and see how many of us can get the Charles Fillmore invocation at the top of our service. Oh my gosh, here we go. I am now in the presence of divine spirit. Oh, guys, I can already tell I'm not going to know what it is. Centered in the, I'm going to look it up, invocation, Charles Fillmore. You know, you think you know it. And if I were just sitting in front of you, you know, in the sanctuary, oh, great. Wouldn't you know I pulled up? I pulled up an interpretation of it. So for something a little different, I'm going to read that along as you do yours. I am the presence of pure being, emanating the whole spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I am all that God is expressing from the point of me. I am presence and power of blessed spirit. As I express divine wisdom, all thoughts of mortal human limitation have no power over me. I am the substance and power of pure love, bringing into manifestation my world according to divine law. Well, I'm going to count that as divine order, that I couldn't find the traditional way, and we got to hear a really neat translation of it from Paul Hasselbeck. Yay! And thanks for those of you who were trying to help me out there. I really appreciate that. Let's take a moment and greet each other. So everyone that is online here, hey, Gayla says, God bless to Edwene, one of our teachers. Mary is on. So go ahead and say hello to each other in the chat line if you would like, in the chat box here. We'll take a moment for some greeting. And I'll again shout out some names of folks that are on. Chris Selvig and Anita and Pat McRoberts, Arturo, Carolyn, Patricia, Jerry, Susan Rampt, Ruth and Dallas, Brenda Smith, Fee and Yvonne and Aria are online. By the way, the kitty is going to make an appearance later on. So have the kids ready around, let's say 11:45, and we'll have a kitty sighting for them. Cheryl, hello Cheryl, good to see you. The Bostons are here. Angela, Pat Schlick is with us, and the Gordons, Rod and Lori. I think I've named just about everyone. Mary, Chris, Karen. I love seeing hello from everybody. Hi, Mark. Hi, Mark. Great to see you. Handshakes and virtual hugs to everyone. And now let's sing a little bit. I've got a karaoke version of a song for us to sing. If I can just pull it up here in just a moment. I've got Peace Like a River. And if you know the dance moves, you can do the dance moves with me. I got peace like a river. I got peace like a river. I got peace like a river in my soul. I got peace like a river. I got peace like a river. I got peace like a river in my soul. Gotta get my soul. I got joy. I got love like an ocean. I got love like an ocean in my soul. I got joy like a fountain. I got joy like a fountain. I got joy like a fountain in my soul. I got joy like a fountain. I got joy like a fountain. I got joy like a fountain in my soul. Woo! That was my workout for today. I've got joy like a fountain. All right. Couple of quick announcements then as we move over into our meditation time. Reminding all of you, if you haven't already, to make sure you're on our eBlast, our mailing list. Go to the front page of the webpage to make sure that you get all the updates. You're already on Facebook Live. Make sure that you friended myself and are following the church. We are putting all of our videos over on YouTube, so if you know of anyone who's not on Facebook, and we're putting this out in the emails, remind them that they're all over on YouTube. You can to the church through the church webpage. On Facebook. It's really about the same, whichever one's most convenient for you. As we continue, at least through the end of April, to pay the staff, Betsy has chosen to take part-time right now to cut her hours a little since there isn't much to do. We're so grateful to her. That was her decision, and we're paying everyone their full rate. We're paying Tatiana, Carolyn, myself, and Betsy for now, and we are taking very seriously the finances of the church during this time. So please continue your generosity. We have cut back on the heating and air conditioning and the cleaning and all of that right now. Everything we can minimize, we are, and we still need your donations during this time just as much as we always do. So thank you for that. And now let us turn into a time of meditation. And I invite you, if it's comfortable, wherever you are, to just get yourself comfortable. Little Daniel Nahmod to get us in.
My soul remembers your voice when all I hear is frustration and doubt. My soul remembers your grace when the hurt is searing as a desert. Still I never go without. soul remembers.
My soul remembers. My soul remembers this sacred place that I turn to in meditation. And my soul easily slips into this state of consciousness. I remember this. It is in my cells. It has been pre-programmed. This place of peace, of quiet, of connection to the divine. I am connected in the oneness of God. I am connected. I let this peace wash over me, washing away any concerns, any negativity, any darkness. My soul remembers what lies beyond that. Light. My soul remembers the principles of truth, beauty, and love that stand under everything that I see and feel and hear. My soul remembers. The forgetting is over now, and the remembering of my divine nature fills me to overflowing. Every corner of fear now releases. Every area of darkness is now lit. This healing place, this is my center, my all, and I rest in it now. My soul remembers the silence. And as I have taken this time to remember, I am strengthened in spirit. As I have come together with my church community, I am strengthened in spirit. And as I send this awareness of the truth of each of us out into the world, I am strengthened. My soul remembers, and so it is.
My soul remember your touch when my body yearns to be cradled like a child. My soul remembers your strength when a heavy burden's weighing on me. I am sheltered all the while, sheltered all the while, whether at war or at peace, awake or asleep, whether I'm walking the streets or diving the ocean deep, whether it's winter or spring, whether I cry or sing. Oh, my soul remember.
It's so funny to think about the fact that right now we are in the middle of Lent. That everything that's happening right now in the world with this virus is happening at this time. I'm not saying it's magically planned that way or anything, but now that it's happened at this time, how wonderful to use it in the way that we use this time of Lent. A time of reflection, of going deeper, and of preparing for a big change, which is what Jesus was doing during this period. These last weeks that led up until his death was a deep time of preparation and an acceleration of spiritual growth. And that's what we still do with it to this day. And what an opportunity. The silver lining in the challenge that we're having, the opportunity for you to take this time to go deeper, to catch up on Netflix, and then go deeper. That's what it's looked like over here at my house. And there's this message, this voice in the back of my head, sometimes when I'm sitting on that couch over there, like, hey, get up and do something else. And I'm listening to that because it seems like there's more quiet, there's more of a space for me to do that. It's a new way of being, which reminds me of an old way of being. We are, most of us, I'm sure, living in a new way of being right now. We're at home, here in Illinois especially, and the other states that are, I don't want to say lockdown, but are shelter in place, that are doing shelter in place. We're not doing all of the things that we normally used to do, obviously. And how much are we able to do of the stuff that we've always wanted to? When my soul remembers what's good for me, what spiritually helps me, what physically helps me, that I haven't had time to do before, am I able to do it now? Am I able to take this new way of being and capture an old way of being? I'm not going to put on rose-colored glasses and say that the past was all perfect. But I've reflected a lot this week on my childhood. I was born in '64. And so I grew up in the late 60s, early 70s, my early childhood. And it does seem like it was a simpler time in some ways not. But the ways that I'm thinking about that I live at home, it was simpler. We had one car, we had one phone that hung on the wall. We had one person working in the household. We played tag outside. We didn't eat out that I can remember at that point. It wasn't until I was a little bit older, maybe in the mid 70s, that McDonald's became like a once a month treat or something. So it was simpler, and it feels that way now. It's a new way of being that reminds me of that old way of being. And I'm trying to take forward the positive things about that. What is that this can hearken back to for me in a new way? It's like the Socratic method of growth and of learning, that you have a beginning position, something changes, and something new comes out of it. If you want to picture a triangle. So we start, and it's the same thing with change. We start with a thesis or a way of being that I'm looking at. There's this way of being that I've been, and then something disrupts it. And I go into a questioning learning mode, and that's called the antithesis. The thesis no longer works, folks. The way that we were living just a few weeks ago no longer works, literally. I can't just run out to my favorite restaurant. I can't go to the library and get a new book. A lot of it is distraction. I can't distract myself the way I used to. And all those days that I wished for an extra day off and I wished for some quiet, oh my gosh, I remember my poor mother with us two kids, and I was a talker even back then. My mother would say, the only thing I want for my birthday and Christmas is a day of peace and quiet. And it seems like we've got that now. This day and day and day and day of peace and quiet and not seeing the people that I'm used to seeing. a new way of being that's an old way of being. When I grew up, we didn't travel anywhere. Vacation was driving 8 hours to Iowa to be with my grandmother. It wasn't flying off to Mexico. It wasn't flying off the Caribbean or Europe. Those are wonderful things. I'm not saying I don't want to do those again, but it made me think about that. You know, there wasn't as much pressure to get the tickets, to find the best deal, to save up the money to do that. And, oh, here's the place I want to go. And sometimes the good side of that can turn into a stressful thing. So can this be a new way that can combine the best of the old ways to create the synthesis that is the third part of the Socratic method, or of a change triangle, where we started, where we got disrupted to, and then how we learn from that, how we take on new habits, and we change, and we create the new heaven, the new earth that we talked about last week. That's where we are right now, I feel like. We are right in the middle of that triangle, so we have been disrupted, and we are now in the antithesis of what we used to be living. Pieces of that don't work anymore. So what pieces do you want to bring with you into this next level? What's working for you right now? Personally, a slower pace of life is working for me. I find that I like this. Yeah, there are days that I really wish I could get out there and, like, as I said, one of my favorite things is to just go sit at the library or at a coffee shop. And I can't do that. So can I bring that same consciousness here? And maybe next time I don't have to go spend $5 on a coffee. I don't know. I remember after 9/11, we all thought that things were going to be really, really different for us. And really, they haven't been that different. We kind of went back to the way we are, and life continues to go on, because you can't stay stagnant. It's not what I'm talking about. But I am talking about rising up into that next level to take with us what that works, to let go of what doesn't. And when I come to challenges like this, there's a character in the Bible that always comes to mind for me that I want to share with you today. And that is my buddy Jacob. One of my probably top 10 favorite stories in the Bible. And so you find his full story in Genesis 25, 26, 27, in amongst all the patriarchs. And to give you a little bit of background, so Jacob and Esau were brothers, and Esau was supposed to get the blessing as the firstborn, but Jacob and his mother, Rebekah, tricked his father Isaac, and he got the blessing. So his brother was extremely mad at him, and the brothers split, Esau and Jacob. And then as Jacob's life goes on, he finally leaves, he gets married, there's a whole bunch of other stories in there, and he's on his way back to see his brother. And when that happens, before he actually crosses over to see his brother, if I can find myself, I've been reading the whole thing, and there we go. In Genesis 33, he wrestles. So he's on his way to see his brother, who he's estranged from, who he's stolen the birthright from, and he's scared. He doesn't know if his brother is going to attack him. It's the most stressful moment of this man's life, and everything is on the line. So the same night that he got up and took his wives and crossed the fork, he took them and sent them across the stream like everything that he had. Jacob was left alone. A man wrestled with him until daybreak. When the man saw that he did not prevail against Jacob, he struck him on the hip socket, and Jacob's hip was put out of joint as he wrestled with him. And then he said, "Let me go, for the day is breaking." But Jacob said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." So he said to him, "What is your name?" And he said, "Jacob." And the man said, "You'll no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have striven with God and with humans and have prevailed." And then Jacob asked him, "Please tell me your name." But he said, "Why is it that you ask my name?" And there he blessed him. Jacob was wrestling with an angel, with God, with a man. Depends on who's interpreting it. For me, the point is that Jacob was wrestling. He was wrestling with his deepest demons. He was coming face to face with some of the choices that he had made in his life. He was about to step into a big moment of change for him that could go one way or the other, and he wrestled with it. And I think that's what most of us do. I think that's the natural part of it. That's the antithesis part of the change. The wrestling. What does this mean? What is this showing me that doesn't work? Wow, what is this waking me up to? And we don't have to have guilt, and we don't have to have shame, as we always say. This is learning. This moment of COVID-19 and what it's done to awaken us all can be this great spiritual moment for us, and where we can say, while I may be struggling, well, I may have been laid off, I may be taking a pay cut, I may be using up vacation and knowing that I won't go on vacation anywhere, I may be waiting for that check to come in the mail. We can also use it as a spiritual awakening for us. Does this tell me something about my life that I want to be different going forward? What am I ready to let go of, and what am I ready to take on? And we're just a couple of weeks away from the greatest example of that I can think of, the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus, a letting go and a taking on of something new. As you work your way around the triangle in the coming days and weeks, perhaps Jacob's story, perhaps Jesus' story, perhaps many of the stories that you hear out there of people that are overcoming, people that are meeting the challenge, people that are making masks, people that are finding ways, people that are staying home, even though they think they have COVID-19, but their symptoms aren't bad, so they may never know, but they're staying home so that people that are sicker than them can go. There's a new way of doing this right now, folks. And we know in Unity, the power of our thoughts is co-creative. We are creating. And most importantly, each one of us internally is creating our outer experience from this, thought by thought. So enjoy the wrestling. At least you're not going to get your hip knocked out of its socket. Enjoy the wrestle, because you follow in a line of spiritual masters that we read about in the Bible and beyond. You're following in their footsteps to create a greater heaven and a greater earth for yourself and for all of us. Namaste. A little bit of music to join in with. We love our music at Unity. This is one I know that you can all sing along. Let It Be by the Beatles. We'll do a verse or two. We won't do the whole thing. Let it be. Sing aloud. I want to hear it through my window. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be. Let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be part, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer. Let it be. Wow. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. There will be an answer. let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Nicely done, everyone. I can hear it all the way from here. I can feel it. I feel the energy of everybody out there. Thank you. And as we come to an end here, I want to remind everybody again that I'm going to switch back over to my notes, that you can give to the church. We're going to do a love offering now. And if you are someone who already does automatic banking, thank you so much. It's already come into us. And if you are someone who normally sends a check, you can go ahead and send a check to the church office. We are still there during the week, thanks to Betsy, and we can process that. And as I said at the beginning, we are continuing to pay the staff through the end of April so that there isn't a disruption for them, and then we will need to reevaluate everything in April. So thank you for the faith consciousness that you still have in your church to rise up. The board is doing everything we can to keep our expenses down, and the board has divided up the list of everyone in the church, and if we haven't reached you yet, look for a phone call from us. We're starting with members, and then we'll move on to those that we know come regularly. So, and always, always know that we are there for you. You can reach out to my email, revelizabethmora@gmail.com, to the church, unitynw@yahoo.com. And you can reach out to us through the webpage. There's a portal there as well. So thank you to all of you. And there was two more things I was going to do. I was going to tell my husband, who is sitting in the other room, go ahead and bring the kitty. I want to show the kids, I think, especially like that. They like to see that. And I want to share a couple of things in the chat room. Chris says that was the first karaoke song she ever sang, and that she believes this is for our soul's growth. I think a lot of us in the spiritual world know this is for our soul's growth. And even if someone thought it wasn't, we can still make it ours. Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. We are the ones that determined. So my soul does remember. And Patricia said, as the universe is never stagnant, so we are now confronted with the challenge of creating our new normal. How exciting. Thanks, Patricia. I really appreciate that. So Arturo, he's now busted. He's probably gone offline and is not aware that I'm telling him to bring the kitty, but maybe he'll wake up. You know what? I bet Roni is wearing pajama pants and fuzzy slippers. You know, Chris, you know me so well. It was really close. It could have been pajama pants. It's simply leggings. It's not what I would normally wear, but if you check in with me during the week, I guarantee you there are pajama bottoms happening. And there was even one day, Chris, you might have missed it. There was even one day that I wore my pajama tops. I just didn't feel like getting dressed that day, and I didn't have to. But I want you to know that I'm always fully clothed. Yeah, there's no Dilbert going on here. We are doing that. So one last thing I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to text Arturo and say, cat, so that the cat can come here. And for the kids, Miss Carolyn is working on some YouTube videos to have online, so there's something for you to do. As we know, parents home with kids, God bless you. Let's all say a prayer, a special prayer to parents home with children, being full-time teachers, full-time workers, full-time moms, full-time wives, and to the dads that are teaching and caring and working from home. So to moms and dads everywhere, lots of love and blessings to you. And so as we take our love offering in our hand or in consciousness, when we are aware of how we are going to be donating to the church, we'll say our love offering together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. I am going to start our closing song. I decided, hey, we can still do the peace song, and I'm going to start that, and while that goes on, you know the words, I'm going to go find the cat, and I'll come back with that. So blessings to all of you. Thank you so much for being with us this Sunday. Keep looking for us during the week. Oh yes, that was the last thing I was going to say. I'm going to shift a little bit about what I've been doing during the week. I'm adapting to what you need out there. Keep the feedback coming. So it seems like you need a little less Facebook Live. So I am simply going to come on Monday and Wednesday at 1 o'clock. So if you want to catch me live, Monday and Wednesday at 1 o'clock, I'll do a 15-minute check-in. Tuesday night, I'll be doing the 6 p.m. meditation. That'll be live also on Facebook. And then on Thursday at 7 p.m., we'll try another Zoom meetup. We had great success with it this last week. We had about 15 people. People were talking and sharing and laughing, and we had kids on the line and dogs and cats. So if you can get on Zoom, it is not recorded. It is a private meeting with us, and I can see exactly who's online. And so you don't have to worry about any online safety there. So I'll put it up on the Facebook. But Monday and Wednesday, 1 o'clock, Tuesday at 6, and Thursday at 7. So there's a little something Monday through Thursday for you. And I'll continue to see how many people are coming on to those things and if we should continue. And now we'll sing the peace song. Pretend we're holding hands again. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. Right now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment, live each moment. It gets higher. Eternally, I drop the octave. Peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. God bless. Take care. I know. Not so good.